Welcome to Fans Assemble, where we come together to talk about all the things we fan over, like comic books, movies, sports, or anything else that we love. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome back, everybody, to Fans Assemble. I'm your host, James, and I don't know, but if you watched our Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special podcast where we geniusly orchestrated to come out an hour before the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. Geniuses by us, for me and Ray. By the way, Ray is joining me for this episode. I know you all have been cheering for this. So we said that we're going to do something a little bit more holiday centric. This is going to be kind of our second one, I guess. Guardians, I guess you could consider the first. We have a couple more coming up. If Ray does not fall asleep to this one. Shout out to the She-Hulk review that did very well. If you watch that one, you'll understand what we're talking about. And we're going to talk about a lot of things surrounding the holidays in terms of if you're a nerd like us, what you should be watching, what you should be playing, things like that. So we got a lot of stuff coming out. This one was Ray's idea. So if it goes badly, blame it on him.
Yes, blame it on me.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, the video game. It's a sequel, right, Ray? It was a sequel or a spin-off, I guess, to the...
Both. It's a sequel, like it's like a direct sequel to the PS4 game.
Yeah, to the 2018 game.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously it's Miles Morales. He's the main character who, in the comics, he is the second Spider-Man. Very complicated because now we have 1,000 alternate universes. But many people know him as being the second Spider-Man, wherever Peter Parker lives or dies in that continuity.
Yeah.
In the first game, he gets powers. Gets bitten by a spider in the end of the game, and then little Easter egg here. Oh, he's training with Peter. So it's basically the follow-up to what happened after that.
Yeah.
It's very similar premise. Free roam, stopping bad guys. There's a great story mode to it, a great campaign. Ray and I have played it multiple times. Even though Ray played it 6 times, he felt very free to put it in again for the 7th time, just for this review, quote unquote.
Actually, this is the 8th time.
Okay, the 8th time.
Yeah.
So it's a very good framework. Is this an excuse for Ray and I to talk about a video game that came out 2 years ago? Yes, it is an excuse for us to talk about it.
Basically.
But we think it's a very good, very, very good holiday video game. It's and it's kind of like I think you'll speak to it, right, Ray? Like especially Spider-Man, but video games in general, it's kind of hard to get like a very good environment.
Yeah, like this game.
Well,
like I'm actually playing it right now as we.
So if Ray starts to like space out, that's why, everybody.
No, I think like the background, like obviously Manhattan during the holidays is like, Rockefeller.
Yeah, special.
Yeah. So I think like the choice to place it during winter with like the snow and the Christmas decorations and stuff really sets like the tone for the whole game.
Mm-hmm. So when Ray and I first created this idea, and I think this will hopefully access our even more appreciation for this game than we already have is, when Ray and I were first coming up with the ideas for what videos we're going to do this month, what podcasts we're going to do this month, he brought up like some other video games like Batman Arkham Origins. It takes place Christmas Eve, right? Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve night.
Yeah, so there's a lot of snow, but no offense to that game, but it's a little bit of a cop out the way they did the Christmas because nobody's on the street and Gotham has been snowed out. We live we've been to New York, the city, like when it's snowing. When it snows, people are still outside. It doesn't matter. So
you got the delivery guy riding his bike in 2 feet of snow. So
yeah. And Gotham's supposed to be this like metropolitan city, right?
Yeah, no one would leave the city during the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. So with this game, you really get that level of like holidays, like everybody, like if you're holiday vacation, right? You try to go out as much as you can, right? You have the days off. You try to go to the mall. You try to go to the city, things like that, and it gets crowded. And there's like everybody's thinking about the same thing. It's about like getting gifts. So you get that feeling in this game, right? And also one things I thought like I never felt to appreciate is like every Spider-Man game, and Ray knows this because he's played most of the free roam games, like the Amazing Spider-Man games and Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, all these different stuff. Like all of them kind of feel like it's like the fall or the summer or something. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
never. I just in general, like you never get games like set in the snow. I guess because it's hard to like make,
Yeah.
because
You
you have to have it like basically you have to build the whole like city from the ground up with snow in mind. Like
mhm.
so, like that's why you never really see it that often. But when games
Yeah.
do it, it really is something special because
It's different, right?
yeah, like you don't like you said, like everything's always set in like either the fall or summer.
Just makes things easier.
Yeah, but you never get
Yeah.
like winter set stuff like the Forza Horizon 4, the racing
Hmm.
game. It was set in the four seasons, so like every like week it would change seasons like in real
Hmm.
time. So whenever it went to winter, it was like I always try to play it because I don't know. I just like the like you never really get that like feeling in games like
Yeah.
exploring
Like
like a winter setting.
the only time I felt you guys don't know this, Ray is the game master. I am not the game master. I'm a casual
Yeah,
compared to him. But like the only game I ever experienced like weather was probably it didn't I remember when I first started playing it, you told me it's gonna like, throw me off a little bit, was
yeah,
Red Dead Redemption, right?
yeah.
That's the only time, but obviously Red Dead is like a different level of like a
Detail. And, yeah,
there's a stereotype of comic book video games, and then Red Dead
yeah.
obviously does not follow any of those stereotypes.
No,
So it's kind of special to see something like that in a superhero game.
yeah. I,
Especially like, yeah, go ahead.
have you played AC Assassin's Creed Rogue by any chance? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's set in the winter. That's set in
Winter, yeah.
yeah, like
America and
yeah, you sail in like the frozen sea basically. And so
mhm.
that was also like that's the only other kind of game I could think of other than like Red Dead and Arkham Origins and Miles Morales.
What one thing I thought was kind of like it gets so cold, right, in the city, and then you see like everybody is bundled up. Like it feels like I'm in the city
Yeah,
in the game.
I think like I actually just finished Spider-Man PS4 like 3 days ago because I was replaying it for the fall. Like I was
Hmm.
there every year.
Yeah, they have a
And, like
Halloween thing. Yeah.
you could like definitely feel the difference like in terms of like how lively the city is between this and
Hmm.
that game. I don't know. I just feel like they really nailed the whole vibe of Manhattan, especially like the crowded streets and like
Yeah, the crowded streets, especially. I think.
and like I think you have to play this game on PS5 because like it really like you could just like the level of detail on PS5 is insane.
Hmm.
I
It's
remember I originally played it on PS4 because I didn't have a PS5 at the time. And last
same,
year I got the PS5 and then I played out like oh my god, it's like a whole different game.
especially like the scenes where like it's night and it's snowing.
Yeah.
I think you feel like it's I don't know. There's no weather effect in video games yet.
No.
Where we feel the weather, but
Mhm.
maybe like the next 10 years. But it does feel like you feel cold, kind of.
Yeah, like there's certain games like you just feel like, and then like when I replay it, like I think I replayed it in during the summer actually. So now I'm just replaying it again, like New Game Plus, and like it was so weird like playing it in the summer and then it's Christmas and winter in the game, and I'm like I felt like it was winter in real life, but I was like oh wait no, it's like 90 degrees outside.
Especially like the scenes where like one thing I appreciate is like they have like Miles Morales his first suit in the game. It's the sports athletic suit I think they call it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's basically just he has like a Peter's mask, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like a jacket. So he has like thermals,
Yeah, the
long socks.
sportswear suit. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's like it looks like something like, man, if I was Spider Man, but I'm like really cold, what am I gonna
That's what I
wear?
would wear. Yeah.
So yeah, and then so getting back to the Ray and I got into like the winter portion of the game, and so the holiday portion. I thought so. I decided to go back. I'm not like I decided to go back and recall like some of the best missions, I guess, that would uh channel that the Christmas or holiday energy. And
Mm-hmm.
the first mission, immediately, the one with the rhino,
Oh
I thought
yeah.
that was perfect
Mm-hmm.
the way they did it. Like one, like they're fighting the bad guys, and then Spider-Man's like making jokes. Peter Parker, he's
Yeah.
making jokes about like, "Oh, Merry Christmas in New York, guys," and he's talking about like, "Oh, isn't this your favorite jingle from like your prison in Russia, Alexei?" And so you get that.
I think the first
Uh,
mission definitely sets the tone for like the
yeah.
Christmas theme and the winter theme. Like I feel like if the first mission didn't really like set it, then like I feel like the game would have fell flat. But
Hmm.
like you said, like the dialogue, and then they show J. Jonah Jameson doing a podcast, and he
Yeah, he
says
has a
it's Santa.
Santa.
Yeah,
That was perfect. Yeah.
and then you're riding through the mall
The
with
mall I thought was
on Rhino's
perfect. Like,
back.
it feels like a mall you would go to during the
Yeah,
holidays. There's a bunch of trees,
mhm.
crowded.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember I once replayed the mission just to like roam around the mall, like and just to look at the mall like in photo mode, and I was like,
Hmm.
like this really looks like a real mall in the Christmas time.
Yeah, bright lights, all that.
Yeah,
Especially like used to the J. Jonah Jameson thing. I thought it was a nice touch. Also because we technically
yeah,
never
and PS and
seen JJ
yeah, in
in
the
the
first
first
game
game.
you never actually you never see him. You just
Yeah,
hear
you
him.
just hear him. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Also, like when you're swinging around, I think there's like a part where like you break like you have like holiday lights in the park.
Yeah,
You
hmm
break one of those, like so it's like all over the place, really.
yeah,
Um, so we thought it was fantastic. Plus, like especially since like we watched many Spider-Man movies, many Spider-Man TV shows. Like, one of my favorite shows. I don't know if Ray's watched it. I'm a little disappointed if he hasn't. But Spectacular Spider-Man.
no, I want to watch that.
Okay, I've forgiven you since you have the intent.
Yeah,
There's like a spoiler alert for Ray. There is there is an episode where they go to the mall, and then it's like the holiday season.
hmm
So you get like a bunch of people. It's very crowded. Everybody's wearing jackets. Spider Man has like a cold,
yeah,
and then he like keeps sneezing, and then like he's trying to like figure out how. Like he was like, oh, let me try to like wear a winter jacket under my suit and all this different stuff. So, not to that extent, but I just think that like the Miles Morales, like his first costume, it kind of like is a little bit of like a pick of like, hey, he wants to keep warm, or like in the mall. So you get to like live all that, like the mall and the fight scene with Rhino. And
yeah,
did you feel like a little bit like when Spider Man is like saving the people in the mall? It's like a perfect Spider Man balance. It's like a little bit mischievous. Like he's riding Rhino
yeah.
and he's trying to save people though. So
hmm I
and
also remember like there's a lot of similarities between this game and Into the Spider Verse.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're both something like they both take place in winter and Christmas. So I was like, and Miles is the main character. So like I don't know. I just thought that was always funny.
and maybe we'll use this as a separate topic, but for later after I get through my next one. But also his uncle takes a big part of the both of them, which I know his origin story. His uncle's a big part in general, but
Yeah. Mhm.
so well, I want to transition to the next most holiday like parts of the game, and then I think this will branch us out to another topic. But this, Ray and I, we say this is one of our favorite parts of the game. I don't know if it's our favorite thing about the absolute favorite, but it's something that I think maybe was missing in like comic book games, especially maybe Spider Man,
Yeah.
was the Christmas Eve dinner.
Yeah. Exactly. Hmm
So it's perfect because one, like it's the beginning of the game. So it establishes a lot of the story. We're not gonna like get too much. We'll get into it a little bit, but
Yeah. This isn't
this
like a
game's been
review
out for
of the
2 years.
game. Hmm
So you come for Christmas Eve, and then you have Genki. He's there, and also like the feel of the apartment. It's very like tight,
Yeah.
but and then you have Miles. He's dressed. You know how everybody dresses for Christmas. Every teenager would dress for Christmas Eve, and they have the whole family dinner. And you have like little things like you could light. You press triangle to light up the Christmas tree. You
hmm
know, or they have like the Christmas jingles, right? Remember the records?
Yeah. I was gonna say
Sorry
that
about that.
that like part like really was makes the I don't know that like just the choice of the music that plays like I don't know it
Mhm.
just that was just something that was really cool to me for
Yeah,
that.
like you and I always say, the beauty about Spider-Man is how like relatable of a character he is.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Peter or Miles.
Hmm
And then in this case, Miles is a teenager, so even more going on with him, perhaps. And this is what a teenager who lives in Harlem would be doing on Christmas Eve. So
Yeah.
little intimate things like that. And
hmm
then and then they have stuff like of course Genki like spills like some
Yeah, he
plate
throws
and
he throws it on the floor, and then
yeah, it's just like
as the mission goes on, you see him like going around trying to clean it.
yeah, it's like just like very basic normal stuff, and it's kind of cool to see. And then I'm gonna skip over one part, and it's just because this next part's a little bit smaller than the previous. Is there's the whole thing like the electricity went out.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. Yeah,
Yeah, so Ray and I love this part because we love it when what a Spider-Man uses their powers for like something normal.
just like some small.
Yeah, yeah, like like if I was Spider-Man, I need to reach up to that shelf and just jump
Yeah, like.
over the ceiling.
Mhm.
So they have the power goes out, and then Miles climbs outside as Miles Morales and tries to fix the power.
Yeah.
So that part I thought was it was great because it's kind of like it's still about Christmas. It's still still superhero based, right? And then we see people like me and Ray, right? We geek over because it's like, yeah, we saw this. We're a fan of Spider-Man all this time. We've seen this before, so
Yeah. It almost
so
reminded me a lot of the Thanksgiving scene from Spider-Man 2. No,
yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man 1. Yeah.
yeah. The Tobey Maguire one, yeah.
Yeah.
First one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on that scene, Ray. That's my favorite scene. He slaps Norman's hand, and then he's evilly so sharpening the. I had to beat up an old lady to get these hands.
Like that thing, like you were saying, like that's something you don't really get a lot with superheroes, is like seeing them like just doing stuff like that. Like, and I think that's like what makes Spidey so special, is that he's relatable, like in that way. Like,
Mm-hmm. Like he's like there's that fine line, right, where like Miles Morales, he's using those powers in the game. Of course, he's very confident not getting caught.
yeah.
But it's like, dude, he's just climbing outside his window.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, right? He's literally he's like on top of the ceiling.
Yeah.
He's on the ceiling when like everybody's going in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bat, like you and I are like saying, like the holidays are very personable, right? And like no offense to Batman, but Arkham Origins, you don't get a scene where like Batman's like, oh, you drink too much eggnog, Master Bruce. Like there's none of that
Mm-hmm.
little details into it. So that's what makes the game special, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So my next part. So I skipped over a part about the Christmas dinner, and I feel like this will branch us out. And then you mentioned a little bit before is I think this game it works so well. I know that the creator said, "Oh, we did this. We made it in the Christmas time because in the previous game, the 2018 one, it's in the fall, right? You could really clearly tell because it's Halloween.
Oh
So it
yeah.
just basically takes place a little bit after.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that made it really good was, and then I realized when Yankee said it, was in the game you meet there's a bunch of people. Miles reunites, like he reunites with somebody who's from his past, and then ends up becoming like a big plot. Like he meets a couple of people, like he meets his uncle,
Yeah.
and then he meets Finn, his best friend, and then it branches out into like different plots for later in the game for you to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Miles was like, you get the sense he's like, whoa, I had no idea that, these people had these problems or these people had like this going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then Genki said, that's the beauty about the holidays. Is, it's a great time to catch up,
Yeah.
to, see what you're doing. And I said, like, it's kind of like everybody else's holidays. You see, like, your family you haven't seen maybe in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing for Miles, but of course it's different. Spider-Man. Ooh, complications, comic books, drama. So I thought that's why it's a good point you brought up with like the uncle, like because Miles finds out more about his uncle. You watch Into the Spider-Verse; it's very similar to it. So I thought that was a great. You said I remember when the game ended. And you take over a little bit this Ray because I feel like I'm just talking over you the whole time. Is you said how the first 2018 Spider-Man game was excellent, of course, right?
Yeah.
But the Miles Morales game, you said that you didn't say you liked it better or anything, but you were like the story is a little bit more intimate. It's a little bit more Spider-Man like.
Yeah.
So tell me why you think so, why you enjoy it, all that different stuff. Because I think it pulls into the whole holiday thing we're going with.
Like basically, like I think it also comes down to like there's less villains involved and less like plot lines involved.
Hmm.
So like you have more like and like you said, like the villains in the game are closely related to Miles. So and I know Doc Ock in the original game was close to Peter, but it wasn't like family, you know. Like
Yeah.
you get like a different dynamic and the holidays like like you said, Christmas is a big family holiday, so
Hmm.
that kind of like adds into the appeal of the story a little. I think, like you said, so
Yeah. And but I think what you like, it's almost like one big thing that I liked is, there's a lot of no offense to some like the Flash, for example, no offense to him, but like he
yeah,
created the whole Flashpoint thing, like he started the whole thing.
yeah,
Miles, I said one thing I thought was cool about his arc in this game is this goes back to like pretty much before he was Spider-Man, like most of these events.
yeah, exactly.
Like, they'll recall a lot of that. So it is very much like you said, it's a catching up of family and friends, like you
Hmm.
see in the holidays all the time. So so we're gonna get into a little bit about the game itself, because we have to. It's a game. We're doing a gaming review. We have to talk a little bit about playing it.
Yeah,
Do you have anything to add about the story plot? How it has to do with the holidays or anything like that, or did
yeah. I
we
was gonna
cover
say
it?
like a lot of the side missions also like they're like little stories set in the world, but like Christmas is kind of like at the core of them. Like there's
Hmm.
one mission where you have to save donation trucks with toys that criminals are trying to steal. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, like those little side missions. Like I don't know, I feel like they kind of flesh out the holiday theme. Like
Mhm.
I mean, like Feast plays a big role in it.
Yeah, I was about to say the feast side mission. Yeah.
Yeah, like Feast, like in Christmas, like during Christmas time, like people who don't have, who aren't as fortunate, they have to go to like these homeless shelters and stuff, and then
Yeah, and they're trying to keep warm, right? It's like
yeah,
freezing outside, so that's like
mhm,
a plot too.
yeah, like so you get these little side missions that kind of play into the holiday theme. So
Hmm.
and they're not like major stories, but like they're just like little,
Little things.
yeah, like little snippets of just like that kind of flesh out the world and some of the characters that are in the main story too. So
Yeah, and it's cool because it's like very relatable, right? Like it's kind of like they're just saying, let's add in like, all right, we're giving toys to kids, right? How can
yeah,
we put this to a Spider? Oh, they're trying to steal it, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm not saying that the Spider-Man PS4, the 2018 one with Peter Parker, wasn't realistic or anything, but it's like, is Scorpion really gonna like poison Spider-Man and he's like there is like it's harder to create like it's not as in reality, I would say, as these little things.
Yeah, and also like the story takes place a lot in Harlem, so like Harlem's very community oriented and like
Yeah,
are very close knit. And I think like a lot of the side missions kind of like build out his
my
like
favorite, Tails Bodega, can't beat
yeah
that.
the bodega, the barber, like you kind of like they kind of build out the people from his block that
Hmm.
you kind of get to know like throughout the side stories that maybe you wouldn't know if you just played the main stuff.
Yeah, like the whole case is like Miles and his mom moved to like Harlem,
Mm-hmm.
and people obviously don't know him super well because he just moved in, and then same thing with it kind of like mirrors like the city's relationship with like his Spider-Man because
Yeah,
everybody
I was
knows
just
the
gonna say
original
that. Yeah,
Spider-Man.
like he grows as Miles in Harlem, and then Harlem like accepts Miles like the new Spider-Man as their Spider-Man, not you know. So it's kind of like an interesting like you
Hmm.
said
And,
contrast.
and it goes back to the holiday thing, right? It's like about
Mm-hmm.
unity. It's about people being together.
Yeah,
Even like we're not gonna describe frame for frame this part, but the ending of the game where you know, let's just say it is sort of similar to other Spider-Man,
yeah,
perhaps Tobey Maguire, the second one,
mm-hmm.
where the community kind of unites with him.
Yeah.
So it does throw back a little bit to that
It's
holiday.
like it's like those moments wouldn't be like as powerful if you hadn't played the side stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. Reason is kind of like, whoa, these people, these strangers are really willing to get behind another stranger.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I think what Ray and I are trying to get at is like, of course, there's things like you said. Like, we forgot you mentioned the Rockefeller tree. That is like it's cool because if you go in the PS4 game, it's like not crowded at all.
Yeah,
or anything. But then in this game, it is crowded,
yeah,
or it's lit up. I think like more stuff is lit up, of course. And then one thing I did think was a little cool part is like you go to Central Park, like a lot of the water's frozen,
yeah.
so
Hmm.
that's another part. And then of course, you said the environment. It's the rooftops, everything's snowing. People are trying to get warm. So it's all things that kind of like on face first, you could tell it's the holidays, but the plot, like Ray was saying, it's about like community and Miles, people getting to know him. So it's a little bit of like that Christmas. Of course, it's not like super in your face, not like Santa Claus is like coming down and
No,
Spider Man, I need help delivering gifts.
but this is definitely like the most like it wasn't just simply just like they could have easily just said, oh yeah, it's Christmas, and then
Here
have
you
the
go. That's
story and
it.
stuff have nothing to do with Christmas, but like Christmas and the holidays are basically at the center of the story. So that's
Yeah,
why I think like this is definitely one of the best things to play during Christmas time. Basically,
that's gonna be the soundbite right there. I'm just gonna isolate you saying that, and that would be our preview for the whole thing. Uh, so I think we covered up basically the Christmas part. We're
yeah,
just gonna get in a little bit of like the gameplay because I actually noticed that even though this game sold very well, not everybody who played the PS4 game, the
yeah,
2018 one,
hmm
played this one, which I guess is understandable because I remember when the game first came out, I was very confused, like what was the relationship between this game and like the last one, a little bit. And then of course Ray came to my rescue and cleared it all up. So I I played the PS4 game, the 2018 Spider-Man a lot more, I would say. Of course, because the game's been out longer. So of course, I played it a little bit more. Uh,
yeah,
and I came back to this one, and I was kind of like, whoa! I didn't realize Miles does play a bit differently than Peter.
yeah. That's what I was saying with like before we started. Like the swinging and the combat just feel like a lot faster, and like you definitely feel like more agile in this game than the 2018 one.
Yeah, like the control. If you were good at the PS4 game, like let's say you just played the PS, like the way I did it, like before the game came out, I replayed Peter Parker's story.
Hmm.
So when I picked up this one, it was like very very easy to do.
Yeah,
But now it's been like a couple months since I played like either one, so I have been trying to like it is a little bit of a slight learning curve. It's not that bad, but there's things like he doesn't have as many gadgets as Peter Parker. That's like one big thing I
and like
think.
the Venom powers plus
Venom power, the camouflage.
Mhm.
So in some ways, I think one thing I don't think the developers get enough credit for. I mean, it's because like when you review a game, you review it like by itself.
Yeah,
But like I remember telling you like, is there any reason like we always say a sequel or like a follow up to a game should feel like an upgrade, right?
yeah,
Like
hmm
you should not feel like it's a downgrade, and it's kind of difficult to do, especially if like Peter Parker is technically supposed to be better Spider Man than Miles Morales.
yeah,
So it's like, why would he be like have better powers? But it makes you think like, okay, he has the powers, he has the camouflage, Venom power, and things like that. But he doesn't have the gadgets, which I do think make like a big part of the PS4 game a little bit.
yeah,
So it does make a balance between the two of them. Like there is a difference.
yeah. They do feel very different. Like and like I know they'll probably expand upon that in the next game
Yeah,
a little. Like
where
have them play very differently.
yeah they're coming in together, so they're gonna be side by side. Yeah,
Yeah, like they're gonna have like I feel like Peter's gonna be more focused on like technology, and like you said, Miles gonna be more focused on like his Venom powers and stuff. And I feel like that's gonna be a big part of the next game. Hopefully.
yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I think I would hope so. They're gonna be together, so they should try to make them even more different.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
once
Go ahead.
I was curious like with the next game, like do you think it's gonna take place during like holiday again? Or like what do you think how do you think they're gonna do that? Like I was thinking summer maybe, like 4th of July, I don't know.
But is Fourth of July in New York really that special?
Nah. I mean
You know what I mean?
they could have like the fireworks, I don't know. Like have like a mission in the
Why not
fireworks.
fight like with fireworks or something?
Maybe that's how they take Venom down during the fireworks.
Yeah, it's the final big fight scene.
Yeah.
Uh, it's kind of difficult because I was thinking like I definitely don't think they'll do the holidays because as much as you and I have been going on to people buy the game, it's great for the holidays. It would kind of like not be as special anymore. I think, right?
Yeah. But like I feel like even like even the first game, like how they just had one Halloween scene. Like Halloween wasn't a huge part of the game, or but just
Yeah,
like even like fall in general was just like the backdrop.
you could glance over and say it's like August, like late summer if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
and that's exactly what I think they'll probably end up doing. Like just like
Yeah,
setting up theme, but not like this, not like Miles, where like Christmas is literally
yeah.
like the backbone of the whole game, basically.
Also, like the game, like of course, like Ray and I are speculating about this next one because this game it does feel like with Miles Morales, his character perhaps will shape the next game quite a bit because he is going to be in the next game. We definitely know that.
Yeah.
And like there's like Venom in it. Like they showed the trailer for Venom, but
Oh,
then like the voice wasn't him. We believe it said it was Craven.
yeah.
So those are already like two major villains going on in this game. So I don't know if they're gonna have like time because I thought the Miles one was perfect for the holidays because his character's like more intimate. The
Yeah.
story's more intimate.
Exactly. Like I feel like this next game is gonna be like a bigger title.
Yeah,
Because this is
like mhm.
essentially this was like a like you said, it's a spin off. It was only like what, like $40 when it came out versus like a full price game, and it's like
Yeah,
half
I
the
don't know
length.
about the price, but I know you mean like the length and everything
Yeah,
felt
like
like
it's half the length of the first game. So like I feel like the next game is gonna be more, like you said, more villains, more
yeah,
storylines.
it's gonna go back to like what the Peter Parker one did.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just of course you and I are saying the only difference is of course it's a different game, it's a different story, but as well the big difference will be Miles Morales in the game. So
hmm
well, I think maybe they're just gonna do it like it's 1 year later because think about it like Miles is gonna have to be like fighting like bigger names now.
yeah,
So you're probably gonna want him to be like a little bit more experienced, I think.
yeah. They're not gonna. I don't like. I think there's about a year jump from the ending of 2018 to Miles. So like I could definitely see them maybe fast forwarding like a year or two in the next game.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think at least a year. I mean, we've seen great. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just take like use of Fourth of July or something. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's what. I agree with you. It'll probably be like a year or something like that. But this game, I think, just the Miles Morales game, just makes us more excited because it shows them like to be honest, like if we heard like two Spider-Man, it's like okay, what's the difference,
yeah,
But this Miles game made us appreciate Miles' character a little bit more.
yeah,
Also, we always know how it is. It's like you play a game and like to say there's like three characters, everybody wants to play as the main guy, the most balanced guy. But I think the Miles game prevents us from possibly the next game from doing that. So
yeah. And like I wonder like with co-op and stuff like how they're gonna balance out like having the two different characters. Like I want because co-op's definitely gonna be in it. I feel like people were asking for it like after
mm.
this game came out. They're like, we need co-op. Like I don't see why they wouldn't have that in the next game.
I mean, we'll see because like they try like Ray and I have always been a component of like superhero games should have co-op. Like they should be more co-op. Not every game should have co-op, but more. Like we always believed like there's been a lot of missed opportunities to do co-op. Like the Batman Arkham games, besides the Arkham Origins, which really wasn't co-op, it's just like an online game.
Yeah, online mode. But like
Yeah,
like Knight Arkham Knight had like what, like 8 playable characters in it.
yeah, you could tag team between characters and
Yeah.
like Robin and Nightwing and Batman and
Mhm.
Cat, like all that stuff. Like, but you never got to like play it with another person.
Yeah. And
And Ray and I thought like that was like a missed opportunity because like you look at games like I always thought Splinter Cell Blacklist was a good
yeah,
example.
because they had the
I don't.
co-op.
Yeah, it's co-op, and then it's like so like I always think the problem with like a co-op superhero video game is like nowadays superhero games they let you get like very creative, like how you attack somebody. Like Spider-Man could like zip line and then like set a trip mine and then it shoots to the guy and it ties two
Yeah.
of them and
hmm
stuff like that. Like in this game, or like or Miles could like turn camouflage and do all this stuff. So I always think it's like hard to account like what the other player is doing.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, combat would be interesting too because it's like very chaotic, right? Like when you have one player and now you're adding two players. So
hmm Like
I hope it's gonna be good.
like I don't know. You played. Have you ever played Avengers, the game that came out a few years ago?
Yeah, I did. They did online co-op, right?
Yeah, but like I feel like that's like what you don't want to do. Like maybe like just the way that I don't know, like the way the gameplay wasn't that great. And
I think the problem is the gameplay wasn't that great to begin with.
yeah, and then like you have Gotham Knights, which hopefully we'll get to play and then maybe review on here soon.
Yeah. Ray has to hurry with that.
Yeah, I gotta get that. I don't know.
Yeah, we know that game is not that great, but now that we were talking about co-op, we're interested. So I heard the story is very good in that one. So.
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's like some games like superhero games sometimes like having a single player story like in like Miles, like you have more intimate like opportunities to have more personal stories related to it. I think when you add the multiplayer and the co-op like component,
it expands a lot.
Yeah, like you can't really have something like that in it, you know?
Yeah, like like the Avengers game, for example. Like the whole map is like huge.
Yeah.
Like every game, and it's like everybody just zooms past it, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem. I mean, like they give you the option, why not do it? But it's like you don't get like you have a player who's just like fighting by himself, zooming over spot to spot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel as cool, right? Like I think we're all imagining like that's why I point out Splinter Cell, because you've got like two people.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot going on. It's like a sort of big map, but it's not that big.
Yeah, like it's like a mission, like just like a basic mission, basically. Like.
Yeah, so I think we're all hoping that like the Spider-Man game will have some of that, perhaps, as well. Because in the game, like there's big, like of course Peter and Miles, like they fight like on the street and stuff. But there's like a lot of missions where like they go into like a lab or like a factory or an abandoned warehouse. Like I think we're all hoping like there'll be moments of like you could play in there or something like that. So
yeah, but not like with Avengers, like it just got so repetitive, like the same two buildings over and over again. Because like
like oh wow,
you had to limit like the mission design a little, but like I feel like with Spider-Man maybe they could I don't know, have like a more, like you said, like mix open world and like those more tight levels, and then but then also the problem is you have to build the story to be played single player too, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be tricky to see. Well, that's why I keep throwing back to Splinter Cell, but that's why I said I thought they did it perfectly. Like it's like just another mission.
Yeah.
It's like a side mission to your single player mission. So that's why I kind of thought like that's the way they could be kind of similar. So every superhero game should look at that.
The one thing I like about Miles is that like it's not a complicated game to play. You know, like I don't know if like I don't know when you replay it every time, do you like 100% it, like do everything?
Yeah, most of the time I do. I usually get
because it's easy. You know, it's easy to run through like and just like explore the map, and like it's not like super complicated. It doesn't take like 200 hours to beat it.
Like
30 maybe hours. Like you know, you could probably finish it in a week if you wanted.
And it's not like the 100%. It's not like a drag. A lot of games sometimes will be a drag, but this one is
like 3,000 collectibles or something like. But like even like 2018 Spider-Man, like all the collectibles, all the missions and stuff, like they all like made sense. Like nothing was like unnecessary or grindy or you know like you felt like
no offense to the Batman Arkham games where I am still having trouble with the Riddler challenges.
Now see the Riddler challenges I don't mind. I've done that like 5 times in Arkham Knight.
No. Anything with the Batmobile, no thank you. All right. So I think we covered most of it, right? So
yeah.
So this is our second part of our holiday / Christmas countdown from Fans Assemble. I am preparing a very nice Christmas graphic for all this stuff. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You know, it really helps. Even if you are subscribe to everything, basically, it'll help us give you a better product. Hopefully, one day Mike will get a microphone eventually. So, thank you guys for listening, and see you all next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like what you were listening to, please subscribe to Fans Assemble. And if you can, please give us a rating. Do it for the audio world. They need you.